the viewers. Today this is day 2 of the 5th ANC National Policy Conference, and this is where different policies will be discussed and how they can be implemented. Before we get into today's program, however, I have with me Maine, who is the Youth League chairperson. So he will just go with us as to what the Youth League is going into today's session, what they're hoping for, and what their discussions are around, and what they are hoping for the young people of South Africa. Good morning to you.
Good morning, and thanks for having us.
We'd just like to know, as the Youth League, what are you going into today's sessions and what are you hoping for?
Well, of course, it's the first day where commissions are going to start, particularly the strategy and tactics and organizational renewal. We have two proposals to make. That the strategy and tactics must be explicit when it comes to the enemy of the revolution, and that must be defined not as monopoly capital but as white monopoly capital. We know that the argument that this thing is futuristic, conditions may change, but as we speak now, we are of the view that white monopoly capital is the enemy of the revolution. And if conditions change, we review this thing every 5 years, so we will review it. But as it is, that's where we stand. Secondly, on organizational renewal, we want to look into the size of the NEC. The view of the Youth League is that the NEC is quite big. It's like a rally. So we're not able to deliberate and find solutions because we are too many. So we're looking at reducing the size of the National Executive Committee, but also at increasing the number of national officials. The position of the Youth League currently is that there must be 7. We're adding a second Deputy Secretary General for monitoring and evaluation, because as it is now, we rely on government to monitor and evaluate itself. So the Tool House needs to develop that capacity of monitoring and evaluating. So that's what we'll be looking at, but also at how do we self-correct as an organization. We've said to the people of South Africa that we're going to self-correct as a movement. So these are the things we'll be dealing with. Unite the organization, strengthen structures of the organization, deal with tendencies like gatekeeping in branches of the ANC so that people are able to join the ANC, and really talk to ourselves and remind ourselves that the ANC is the only hope and parliament of the people. So how we conduct ourselves as members and leaders of the ANC is very critical.
Just lastly, before I let you go, other specific topics that the Youth League is pushing for the young people, such as education and so forth. What are the main issues that the Youth League is trying to push forward in the discussions that will be held today, especially with the strategy and tactics and implementation of the current policies that are already in place?
Well, the other commissions will get to them tomorrow. Today we are focusing on those two commissions. But of course, if you ask what our priorities are, is that government must implement free education for the poor and the children of the working class immediately next year. Secondly, we want a policy that scraps experience as a requirement for entry-level positions in government. We're still pushing the issue of 40% representation of young people in all sectors, whether in government, private sector, and all of that. So we're still pushing that. And the last point that we're going to focus at is that when we leave this conference, all of us must be speaking or singing from the same hymn book as it relates to what radical economic transformation means. And of course, nationalization of key sectors of the economy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very pleased.
And as we've heard it from the leader of the young people of South Africa, they have a few things that they want to table to this national policy conference. And education seems to be taking top priority. And one more thing that he mentioned that was very critical and important is entry-level experience, as we do know that young people do complain about this factor that straight out of varsity, they do not have experience and they're not given a chance to come into the working class sector. So this is one of the things that the ANC Youth League is trying to work on to make sure that young people are considered within education and post-education, trying to get into the education sector.